Welcome to Advanced Vedic Mathematics course, week 15, Antahakaran, lesson 101, Naveen Shareer, new body. Jeev Utkarman, the transcendence of being, and attainment of new body, Naveen Shareer, is the phenomenon feature upon which we are going to focus today. Jeev Utkarman is a transcendental space Paraviyom phenomenon. It is a transcendental space phenomenon, and once there is a reach back to transcendental space, then Naveen 29, Shareer 14, 43, Brahmand happening is there. Sadhakas fulfilled with intensity of urge to be parallel with it shall see that 44 discrete points are having 43 gaps. Therefore, Jeev Utkarman and a reach of transcendental Paramvijom will again have 43 gaps flow. So there will be flow back, and this equal to 29 plus 14 is the phenomenon that hypercube 4, 2, 3, 4, and 5 and pre-manifestation G 14 and 29. Therefore, this body, Shareer, as H4, pre-manifestation as H14, and it having 29 versions, value 29 as TCB of Naveen. So, sadhakas fulfilled with intensity of urge to be parallel with Vedic systems reach parallel with the existence phenomenon of your human body as Shareer Yatra. So, Shareer Yatra, it is 14 and it is 10, making it 24. It is 4 into 6. It is a dimensional frame of a 6 space. 4 space as domain as a reach for four space as a boundary, and then 2, a four space as a dimension. It is this which is a Sharir Yatra. So four space as dimension, 2 four space as a boundary, to four space as a dimensional frame. So the distinction between this and this phase and stage is that here there is a reach for the dimensional frame, and so it is here that it becomes 2 raised to power 4, and it is a G. One shall sit comfortably and be parallel with it. And once we will be parallel with it, then we shall be comprehending as that Sharir 14 is at 4, Yatra 10 is at 3, it as a way is Adi, and here is Anant, and the Madhya is 19, and it is small at 5. These features were not to be appreciated. Then we'd see if we have 2 points in a space, then it is not necessary that they will have a straight line. They may be joined like this as well. So the middle here and the middle here, if this is 10, if here is 14, and here the middle will be 12, but here it will be 19, Madhya, and here is a yoke. It is this feature which makes 12 plus 19 as 31 and 12 minus 19 as minus 7, which will help us appreciate as to how this 4 space 2, 3, 4 and 5 summation value 14 as such, when is having 5 space as its origin, and this 5 space as an origin with 3 space as a boundary, and there are as many as 8 such components. So these 8 components will give us fixation as 8 directional frame, and this 8 directional frame in fact is going to be a fixation of all 8 corner points of a cube in terms of quadruple internal diagonals. And these quarter internal diagonals further bring us face to face with happening as that in each corner point is embedded a three-dimensional frame, but of half dimensions, as the other three-dimensional frame of half dimension is outside, it is an unmanifested state. So when the internal diagonal with a three-dimensional frame manifestation, it has a translation inward, and from another corner, the another three-dimensional frame having a translation. Then when they will reach at the origin, at the center of the cube, then see the first, say this first three-dimensional frame, and it is a second, and the first three-dimensional frame here at the center will be having this form, and the second will be having a, a this particular form. However, they are at a center, so this with opposite or a reversal of orientation happening here, and this reversal of orientation, and then a synthesis, and synthesis is there as the split of a three-dimensional frame leads to a release of a force space, which in a dynamic state as a churning will lead to a further split, and there will be emergence of a five space here. It is this emergence of a five space at the origin. Emergence of a five space at the origin is to be visited again, and this visit will help us appreciate the translation along this diagonal as it had been. And here there has been a shift in orientation, and it is this shift in orientation and then creation of a five space. So synthesis of this pair of three-dimensional frames, and like that there will be four such synthesis of three-dimensional frames, and fifth is already there because of which this is the origin. So we are having five three-dimensional frames, and it makes a solid dimensional frame of five dimensions of a five space. One shall sit comfortably and visualize and comprehend this phenomenon happening at the center of the cube. Further, we see that cube is a synthetic setup of 8 subcubes. Because it is a synthetic setup of 8 subcubes, as such, there is going to be a placement for 8 innermost corner points of the 8 subcubes. And as these are the points of a cube so solid, so it in a way amounts to a creation of a solid boundary of 8 components at the center of the cube. So center of the cube as such shifts from the features of 3 space to features of a 4 space, and then further there happens a transformation into features of a 5 space. It is this happening which is to be chased, and when we will chase it, then we will appreciate as to how Jeev Utkarman will have an attainment of Naveen Shareer. Sadhakas fulfilled with intensity efforts to be parallel with Vedic systems, Vedic mathematics, Vedic sciences and technology shall approach cube as a 3-space body which within 4 space becomes hypercube 4, and cube within 4 space will lead to a cube within a cube, and it is this feature of a cube within a cube will take us to that the outer cube, this outer cube having 0 space content 8 points, 1 space content 12 edges, 2 space content as 2 space content as 6 plates, and then 3 space content is happening in one volume. But as far as the inner cube is concerned, for inner cubes, all these points, edges, surfaces in cube are of 3 space content. Still further, we see that this cube, the outer cube, is having 27 structural components, 8 corner points, 12 edges, 6 surfaces, and 1 volume. However, the inner cube is also acquiring a three-dimensional frame and origin also intact. So 3 plus 1, it makes 31. Now 27 is the TC value of Virod, 9, thus and 8, while 31 is Samarthan. So those who want to be parallel with Vedic systems shall see that we have to accept this formation for all our sciences and technologies, as sequentially it will take us from 3 space to 4 space. So from 3 space we will reach at its center as a 4 space, and then further at its center at 5 space, and finally as at 6 space, where 6 as a perfect number will further give us an halt. But there may be a restart, and it is this restart will take us to the spatial order systems. So then we will reach at from 6 to 28, and 28 will lead to 29 because there happens to be reversal of orientations, as -6 is equal to -1, -2, -3, and it is also equal to -1 multiplied by -2 into -3. It is this reversal of orientation phenomenon which is to be appreciated, and it is in terms of it only we will be in a position to know when there is a Jeev Utkarman, then with the reversal of orientation, it will have a reach at Naveen Shareer. So all these features are at work, and simultaneously it also is to be appreciated that Jeev and Beach both are of equal TC value 16, but Jeev leads to a Vriksh which is of TC value 19, while Jeev leads to a Purusha which is 24. One shall sit comfortably and have appreciation as to how Jeev as 16 leads to 24 as a Purusha. However, Beach as 16 leads to bricks, that is 19. And we know that 19 is a madhya, middle. And then when we are in a space and we are moving straight, and if it is purv, and if here is a paschim, that is 21 and 22, then north south is going to be 16 and 24. But if we are moving in a space as a curve, then the madhya is 19. And here is the difference 3, and here is the difference 5. It is parallel with 3 space as dimension and 5 space as a domain. Then we have seen that when we were in a cube and when we had a translation for the half three-dimensional frames of its edges for reach at the center, a kendra, then we had 4 such internal diagonals and plus 1 internal 5. We had 5 three-dimensional frame which has taken to a 5 space dimensional order. It is this reach